Uh-oh.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home and podcast time.
That's right. Binford Tools is proud to present a home improvement podcast. My name is Adam. You all know my co-host, Jordan. Taylor, party of 5. Your table's ready.
Is that us? Man,
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Man, it's not a busy restaurant, I guess.
You started a sentence and then you just completely stopped it as if you were expecting something. Jordan, we're talking home improvement.
I thought we were talking a different episode by the way you started that. I was like, wait, did we watch an episode where they go to dinner?
No, I was. This is where we harvest the seeds of something planted several episodes ago, and that is our very special home improvement diner.
Oh, and it's gonna be delicious.
And I know that you were prepared for this because we talked about it before we started.
It's a good thing you reminded me like 4 times because otherwise I would not have made any recipes home improvement related. So,
but you did, and they're of a very high quality, and that's something we're going to talk about today. Among other things, such as the episode of Marked Man, and probably some personal stuff will come in as well. Just the gamut.
We'll probably, try to snipe at each other as much as possible, and
I know you'll take your pot shots.
I will. I want to warn everyone before we start. Like, if you haven't eaten, maybe now is a good time to stop because I don't think you're going to be able to make it through this segment. We're going to make you so hungry, your mouth will be watering. So I just want to put that out there. It's kind of like a spoiler, but not, like a warning.
I'll tell you what's not going to be spoiled. Any of the food at this home improvement
no.
diner.
Oh man, I'm not taking. There's not going to be any room for doggy bags.
You are a notorious doggy bag user, and by that I mean most times I've ever gone out to eat with you, you have brought food home. Yeah,
I like to make the most out of my meal, so typically
guess what I've never really done? Brought food home. I never do it. You would, even in high school, you used to cut your sandwiches in half, and you would just eat half and then save the other half for later.
If I didn't, I don't have a big frame like you, so if I didn't, I would just tack on the poundage.
What's that supposed to mean?
I meant tall, not wide.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Everyone knows how cut and lean you are.
No, they don't.
You post it all over the podcast page.
That's true, yeah. Jordan, how many delicious plates do you have?
So I did kind of like an appetizer and then the main meal and then a dessert. So
fantastic, yeah. I didn't. I have 4 things, really 3 and then 1 bad one.
I'm really just thankful that you have separate notes for this and your show notes so that you actually have this written down.
Yeah, why don't you just say what you mean to say, Jordan? I know you're teasing it. Why don't you just tell everybody that I don't have my notes for this episode because I left them somewhere.
Right before we recorded, you informed me that you left them at work, which made me wonder, why are you taking your show notes to work?
Sometimes during my lunch break, I like to, take part in my other full-time job, and that is doing this podcast. So yeah, I had I do end up watching the episodes on the train quite a bit, and I was using a work pad. So if you ever see somebody on the UPW heading into Chicago watching Home Improvement on his phone, that guy's me.
So are you cooler than the guy who watched like those planes taking off?
It's, flip side of the same coin. I don't know.
You're both on the same level.
Coolness is in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
That's right. All right, so let's make sure that our meals don't get cool here. Let's roll into them right now.
Okay, all right.
All right, you said you have 4.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, I have 4.
Are they just a smattering of different meals? Are there desserts? Are there mostly entrees? How do you have it laid out? That's what I want to know.
These are all entrees.
Okay. Well, I guess let me serve up my first appetizer, and then you can go into a couple entrees. How's that sound?
Fantastic. Yeah, this is going well.
All right. So I'm going to start. I'm going to wet the palate with...
Wet the palate. Yeah, I like that.
That one I've never heard before, but you heard it here first. So I tried to think of what kind of meal or what kind of thing Wilson might make. And I think he's a cultured man. He travels around the world.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like a fusion guy. You know, he's trying to blend all these cultures together. Yep. So I've got Wilson's sushirito, which is a Japanese, Mexican, African fusion.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I know you're excited. So it's a supersized sushi roll filled with Mexican rice, some mixed cheeses, fire-roasted lamb shank, and bell peppers. And it's all wrapped in, that seaweed parchment. I guess it's called nori. I didn't know that before I made this dish. But once you become kind of a recipe maker, designer, you kind of have to get into the technical stuff. So I did that here. But yeah, I think all that blended together would be the perfect way to start our meal.
After hearing the spiel you just gave, I'm sort of embarrassed by what I sort of came up with for this segment.
Oh no!
So,
well, you talked about this for weeks, so I thought I had to.
There's always varying levels of effort on what we do in this podcast, and they're not always going to be equal. And this week, it seems as though I don't have my notes, and I didn't put nearly as much thought or verbiage into my recipes. But let me just start with my first one. Mine are mostly, it's more alliterative than anything.
Oh, jeez.
This is, now I feel sort of compelled to describe it like you. All right, so let's say you've had a real tough day at the office, and you think, man, I'm hungry. I had a granola bar for breakfast and a salad for lunch, and
I'm famished.
And GD it, I'm ready to have something of substance. So when you get to your home improvement diner, you sit down and you tell the server, give me one Tim Taylor's More Power meatloaf.
What's in that meatloaf?
I don't know, but I wrote this down next to it. 2 feet tall. A meatloaf,
oh my goodness!
A meatloaf for all. So it's big. What's in it is everything that's normally in meatloaf, which I'm not entirely sure because I've never made it, but it's a lot bigger than the average meatloaf, and that's sort of where where the more power comes in.
Yeah, it sounds about 8 times as big as the normal meatloaf that I'm used to.
Yeah, you're famished after a hard day.
Yeah, and I would imagine it's topped with some nice homemade ketchup, and maybe there's some peppers in there. And
I mean, you'd imagine that, but I didn't say that.
Yeah, well, it sounds good. It sounds like it'll fill me up, which is kind of the biggest thing.
Do you like meatloaf?
I do like meatloaf. We actually make it quite a bit here.
Really? All right, sure.
I'll make it. I mean, I'm surprised you've never made it.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually not because I don't think Kirsten would eat it, but I like it when I like the taste more than I like the idea or the appearance.
The thing about meatloaf is it warms up well.
That is the thing. Jordan, what's next?
What's next? All right, so we're moving on to my entree, my only entree. This doesn't come from the Taylor family or Wilson or Al for that matter. This is the Morton family meat lovers pasta. Sorry, not pizza, pasta.
Okay.
And they're a family that loves their meat, obviously with Joe Morton, the meat man.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so the meat that's included in this pasta dish is ground up Italian sausage and beef. There's about a 50-50 mix. You throw in some pepperoni and some bacon. It's all tossed in a red sauce. And then you top that with some mozzarella cheese, put it in the oven. And Marie is a little worried because Joe had a heart scare, so she wants to make this healthy.
Yeah.
So instead of using regular noodles, she uses homemade zucchini noodles.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's nice.
So yeah, it's going to be filling, it's going to be flavorful, and it's going to have a lot of meat.
When you said Morton's, I had no idea who you were talking about. You had to spell out the meat man for me to really get it. I was like, Morton? Who's Morton? Is that a boss?
I went with a curveball.
When you said Morton, I was thinking of that boss that he has for one episode that's in the very 80s kind of office.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't know what happened to that guy. I liked him. All right, that's a good one, Jordan. Next one for me is this is Al's All-American hamburger. Yeah, and let me just tell you what's on that. So All-American, it's red, white, and blue, red tomato, white onion, little blue cheese action, and that's really all I have to say about that.
It sounds very patriotic.
Yeah, and you know what? Al just seems like a guy that would be patriotic, so I think it checks out.
I want to save my last one since it's dessert, so
okay, sure.
I'm going to let you run through your other two.
Yeah, okay. Next one for me is the John Binford Memorial BLT. And if I could just describe that.
Does it come with a mini tombstone?
No, I'll describe it to you. If you remember John Binford's, his taste in women, it's aged bacon, but a ripe, kind of sexy tomato.
Sexy tomato.
Yeah.
I can't say I've ever had one of those, but it sounds delicious.
Well, you will if you come to this.
Extra juicy, right?
Extra juicy John Binford Memorial BLT. My last one doesn't require any explanation. I'll just go ahead and say it. It's a Benny Baroni sandwich. And that's fruits in the pudding there.
I got to imagine not a lot of people are ordering that at the diner.
No, that's especially for Benny. After he's been
he comes in, he can't order anything else.
Yeah,
you put it in front of him every
I'll
time.
tell you one that I left in the cutting room floor because I just couldn't quite make it work, and that's Randy's Radical Cinnamon Roll. Just couldn't make it work.
What doesn't work about it?
I don't know. I just didn't have anything to say about it really, so I left it in the cutting room floor.
Sounds radical. All right. My last one, every good meal needs a nice dessert. So we've got Al's flannel pie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this, obviously is made to look like flannel. So what it is a chocolate...
Obviously.
Obviously, but I will describe it.
Yeah.
A chocolate-crusted pie. It is stuffed with strawberry pie filling. The top of the pie is latticed, so you got that flannel shirt look. And then, served with fresh whipped cream.
You've really excelled at this segment, and I'm so glad.
Well, somebody had to. So, like I said, I hope you ate before this segment. If not, you can take a break and go eat now, and then get into the real meat and potatoes of this episode, which is episode 99, A Marked Man.
Oh man, and it is a caper. Well, it's a really short-lived caper.
Yeah, really short-lived. All right, so written by John Vandergriff, last did. Brother, Can You Spare a Hot Rod, which is the Leno
that the Jay
one.
Leno?
Right?
Yeah, I mean that's obviously AKA the Leno app.
Yeah, and then The Eyes Don't Have It, which was when Mark was afraid to get glasses.
This guy likes Mark's storylines.
He does, and I don't remember Mark wearing glasses ever since that episode. So,
I mean that spin though,
that spin. It will live on in infamy. This one aired April 11th, 1995. The plot keyword, I'm just going to read it to you. I think you're going to like this one.
Okay.
Character name and episode title.
Character name and episode title.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm thinking Seinfeld, the little Jerry, with cockfighting. Oh, it's probably... I don't know episode titles for shows other than really Seinfeld. Maybe The Office, but I'm not able to think of any Office episodes. So what ranks high up there?
It's not that great, but... Well, and honestly, a lot of these aren't even shows. Like, there's the Martin Short show, which,
so like titles... Oh, like
some of them did
individual
the title
episodes.
Of the show, but some did individual. But Martin Short, Jungle to Jungle, that's a reference. That
guy was great in Jungle to Jungle.
How about The X-Files, the episode Too Shy, which I've never seen The X-Files.
Wait, who? Too Shy?
I don't know.
Whose title... This is dumb.
It seems like IMDb has broken again.
Is this like when they told us it was the 100th episode, but it was only 98?
Yeah. Here's the first one that actually makes sense. Okay. The Beverly Hillbillies, A Bride for Jed.
See, I love that episode, too. It's a good one. Have you ever watched a lick of the Beverly Hillbillies?
I seem to remember, the opening, but I don't really remember much else.
We should have done that. Beverly Hill cast. And the theme song is that Weezer bit.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, so let's keep going.
Yeah, this is one of the rare ones where Home Improvement's in the top 25. But
yeah, it's good.
That's good. All right.
This episode is in the top 25 all-time TV show episodes.
Yeah, it is on that list, isn't it? The Ringer just came out with that, and
it's a good thing that was post 2000 because Home Improvement would have been littered up and down that list.
Yeah, people would have been upset. So I'm glad they did that. Yeah. All right, so alternative title time.
Also, Jordan, don't bring up The Ringer, man. I'm telling you, we're not doing this. You keep bringing up The Ringer every episode. You're baiting me, and you want me to explode, and I'm just warning you, you don't want that. So,
I want you to stay cool, calm, and collected like Tim does in this episode.
That's right, yeah.
All right. So you left your notes. Does that mean you left your alternative titles?
No, I was able to remember those.
Okay, cool.
I actually even came up with an extra one, so that was a good thing.
Wow, all right. Yeah. Well, I've got 1, 2, 3 of them.
Okay, I have 5.
All right, go ahead.
I actually have 4. Just kidding. Okay, I'll start with this one. Swiss Army Strife.
That's good. Mine is Swiss Army Heist.
Same diff. Next one. Of swine and men.
Wow, you are on point this week.
Thank you.
How about crime and unusual punishment?
I was trying to do something with that, yeah. Okay, this is based on...
it was cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah, crime and punishment, I mean, that works as well. I think
both, yeah.
Literary. This is based on my favorite Donal Logue sitcom from the 2000s, Grounded for Knife.
Yep.
Yep.
Man, I don't think I've ever really seen that episode or that sitcom.
Oh, you're not missing much.
Okay. This is based off of a children's book. If You Give Al a Cookie.
What's the book it's based off of?
I think it's If You Give a Mouse a Cookie.
Very well. This my last one is based off of a New York Times bestseller, kind of close to people that like home improvement. It's called When Thiefdom Happens, nurturing your child in the stealing business. First one I came up with, last
Best
one to
one.
share. Yeah, I knew it.
I'm so glad you fit that in there. All right, plot synopsis by Bernie. Tim and the boys visit the hardware store where Harry and Al are working. The boys want a pocket knife, and after they leave, the knife is just gone. Al talks to Tim about the boys taking it. Tim and Jill find the knife in Mark's drawer. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Mark genius hit his friggin' pants he wore to the store.
He forgot he had them on.
Jeez.
He took it off and then just, I don't know.
All right, Jordan, you can go ahead and start this scene, end this scene, start the next scene, and I'll jump in. I'll jump in as best I can. I did watch it twice.
All right, so we're going to open on Tool Time with an amazing segment. I just don't know how they keep doing this show.
I think I actually burned my notes after this watching this part, and that's why they're gone.
Just like the boys are. Well, Tim says he would burn the recipe of Jill's. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, Jordan. Yeah, but we can describe the scene in a second. But I gotta say, this has gotta stack up there as one of my least favorite Home Improvement bits. Or
Tool Time bits?
Yeah, right, specifically Tool Time. Yeah, I mean...
I've got a lot of questions,
Yeah, let's describe it and then you can ask them.
All right, so a guest comes out. It is the 1994 Illinois champion for husband calling.
Yes.
It's apparently people who call their husband loudly.
All right, and I've paused. I did some research.
All right.
And I found an article... Apparently, I saw some YouTube videos as well. I don't know if this is strictly an Illinois thing, which is unfortunate for those of us that live in Illinois. But all I could find was about it happening in Illinois at the Illinois State Fair. So I didn't watch the video because I wanted to live to see the podcast come to fruition. But I found an article. It's called "What's the Difference Between Hog and Husband Calling?" And it was written in August 15th, 1988 by Costanza, Montana, which has got to be made up.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read the first couple paragraphs here, Jordan. Springfield. Eardrums take a beating at the Illinois State Fair. The decibel level at truck and tractor competitions can seem higher than any 747 taking off, and the 3,000 chickens in the poultry barn never stop clucking. But beyond any inhuman noises produced by machines and farm animals were the sueys and screams shouted by men and women at Sunday's hog and husband calling contests. There you go.
It sounds like the start of a Twilight Zone episode.
It's like I start a horror movie or something. It's just hellacious. Wow. So I guess it's a real thing that was going on in Illinois, and I suspect that the woman in this episode is a real-time husband caller, because she was credited as herself, and her husband was also credited as himself as well.
So my question is, how the heck did they hear about this? Did these people write in and be like, "Oh, I've got a great idea for Tool Time. We could be on there." Yeah. So
basically, we still haven't described it, but basically, she's a husband caller, and it's like hog calling, but for husbands. So she comes out and
she's yelling loudly.
She's a bulbous woman. We'd be dishonest if we didn't say that. And she's yelling loudly, calling her husband. And we're not gonna get a clip of this or anything. You'll thank us later if you've ever seen this. But she's just yelling and calling for her husband. They cut to the crowd, and Tim says can't you tune her out? And the guy's apparently gone deaf. He goes, huh? And Tim says, I can tune out. This is also like, I can tune out anything. My wife says, if sports are on. So Al says, should we put it to a test? You want me to bring out the TV and put on the sports channel? Like, come on. Can we not just say ESPN, like the sports channel, as if that's a universal thing? Yes, the sports channel.
Especially since ESPN. Well, I guess I don't know if that.
I don't know the relationship back then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. But
it's just like, I don't know, so generic. The sports channel.
And they put on some PGA golf.
Mm-hmm.
And this must have been really fun for the audience. The TV is like turned towards Tim.
Yeah,
and she's just yelling at him.
And she
Tim
yells into his ear for, I don't know, solid 15 seconds.
Yeah, Tim tunes her out, but the problem is he's gone slightly deaf. So Al asks what he heard from the TV. Tim can't quite understand. He's got some ringing in his ears. And he apparently thinks that the husband caller was saying she was going to sing in his rear.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of many Tim can't hear jokes that we get, only one of which works, and I will call it out when we get there.
All right. What, are you going to husband call it out?
Oh, you better believe it. No, I don't ever want to think or talk about this again.
All right, so we'll move on. Harry's Hardware. This is kind of, the scene of the crime, so...
We're going to be seeing a lot more Harry's Hardware over the next couple of years, so we better get used to it.
I'm not sure if I would let, the boys back in the store after the way...
Well, we could talk about, just in general, how everyone handles this and whether or not it does make sense, but yeah, I agree.
All right, so Al is counting the inventory down to the smallest details, including the number of nails. Harry's not so interested in that, so there's some bickering over that.
He's very combative. Harry, I understand Al's kind of annoying just in his desire to, and I don't know about micromanage, but just, he's really interested in the details. Harry's not, but Al's trying to count these screws, and Harry's just, he's counting different numbers, and he really seems to enjoy taking pot shots at Al.
He does. It's kind of our relationship. I won't tell you who is who. So, Tim and the boys come in. I guess this is probably the first time we've seen the boys come into the hardware store.
Yeah, they seem pretty comfortable in there, though.
Yeah, they love it there. This is where they come and hang out.
Brad's like, what's up, Harry?
Yeah, what's up? So, he comes in. It's fair. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but all of their hair is just so
I know.
long.
This episode was a showcase for, they're getting real shaggy, and I'm not talking about the dog.
No way. And they've got their, the typical, big 90s clothing on as well. They came to get a hacksaw blade.
Yeah, and Randy comes up to the register. He's like, hacksaw blade, Harry, as if he's done it 1,000 times before.
Tim is yelling a lot in the scene, as you said. It's
just a lot of, I can't hear miscommunication. Yeah.
A little deaf,
The only funny part, the only time it works is when, they see the... well, I was going to say the titular knife, but I guess it's not in the title. My titular knife. And they're like, this is a Swiss Army knife. It's awesome. And then Tim comes over and yells, that's a Swiss Army knife. I thought that was funny for whatever reason, but that's the only time that it worked for me.
That's the only time it worked for you. Yeah, the boys do find this awesome Swiss Army knife. Brad would give anything.
Yeah, it's weird how awesome they find it.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever felt this way about kind of a utility knife, but they do. It's $95 though, so no one can afford it. They make a joke at Mark's expense saying, if we sold Mark, we could get $5, so we need another $90. And I assume this is where Mark makes this decision. He's like, what?
He's like, screw you guys.
I'm taking it. You're gonna think I'm cool, or I'm gonna cut you. And
I've been doing a quick inflation calculation here, and I can say that $95 in 1995 is about $160 now. So that's a costly pocket knife.
Yeah, I'd say. And then the end of the scene,
I heard Randy whisper to Brad that he was going to use it to stab one of the McGurns.
Well, it's only in self-defense because the McGurns are getting a little feisty themselves.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The end of the scene. Oh, it's funny.
So they show, I guess this knife was being displayed or something. It's on top of something, and they just zoom in on the empty empty case.
It's gone. Do you get it? Someone took it. Also, the case, for whatever reason, it reminded me of a weapon the Men in Black would use or something.
The noisy cricket?
Yeah, it kind of looked like that, because it's just I don't know, because they pull everything out or whatever when they showcase it. It just, it had that kind of outline. But,
you know what I'm going to say for this? My wife and I don't watch the show together very often, because she's smarter than I am. And But we did today, when this happened, I turned to her, and her mouth was agape. So,
so it worked for her?
It was shocking.
Oh wow, yeah.
I guess
it's gonna be a bummer when your daughter's first words are like Binford or like Tim, or I don't think so.
Tim, we make sure that she's not
out of
watching.
the room.
She's not watching the show.
That's good. You want to raise her on trash? Is that
No.
what you're saying?
No. All right. So that sets up the the conflict in this episode.
Who took it? Who done it? Where? Why? When? How? Well,
we're gonna find out very shortly.
Yeah, I guess it is pretty quick, isn't it? Yeah.
So we move on the set, the Tool Time set, pre-show. Al needs to chat about yesterday at the store.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a pretty good job of bringing it up, trying to be I don't know. I guess he's not accusing, I guess, is the way he's trying to do it.
I was pretty impressed by how both of them handled themselves in this scene. Because Al, it's a difficult thing to bring up, and Tim kind of, I thought he might fly off the handle right away, as maybe some fathers would if you accuse their sons of stealing, but he's he's
defensive,
well.
but he's not freaking out.
Appropriately so, but he also realizes that it's a possibility.
Yeah. So, Al searched for it before coming to Tim. He's kind of checked all of his places that he could before he came to this point. And, Al wants to tell a story about his uncle's grocery store, about a time when he's experienced this sort of thing. And it just kind of shows that, anyone can be caught up. And this kind of wanting something you can't have. And, Mother was looking for a children's appetite suppressant. Well, I can't say it. Children's appetite suppressant, and left Al alone. Al saw a cookie, and the cookie was, mocking him, basically. Yeah. So he stole it and ate it.
Yeah, we hear about this quite a bit. It's sort of a running thread. I don't know that we should run with it much more.
Cookiegate?
Cookiegate, yeah. I don't know. Didn't do it for me, but I was thinking, how many people you think come into the hardware store in a day? Like 5, 10?
From what we see, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, those 3 boys as suspects is a pretty reasonable, thing to think. Just sheer number of people coming in on a daily basis, pretty low.
Do you think that Al, after this happened, he's going to install, security camera footage?
We're getting close. I mean, especially once that mop gets taken. Oof.
Yeah, 2 in a week. That's too much.
Yeah.
So at home, Jill is doing laundry. Tim comes in. He's kind of got a one-track mind. He's trying to find the boys. He ignores Jill. Jill talks to herself, eventually saying all the stuff that she went and how her day went, including a fake affair that she had, just to drive the point home that Tim's not listening.
You think it was fake?
Do you think it was the guy from the Satellite episode?
Rondell?
Was it Rondell?
Rondell Kittleman?
I think it was.
I wish he'd come back and get some more of those grunts. Yeah.
We get to hear that
it's in our theme song, so I guess everybody knows that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tim brings in the boys after briefly chatting about the problem with Jill, and this is basically when you see all those in TV shows where they look at the lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what they're trying to do here. They
Definitely.
stick them up against the wall, and they ask questions. Do you know who took it or what happened? There's the same joke about Harry stealing it.
Yeah, Harry stealing it for the insurance money. Yeah, Tim said that earlier, and then Randy says it again, and then Tim says, "Where do you get these ideas?" Kind of a funny little line, but yeah.
He's just like his dad, and none of them cop to it. Yeah. Brad and Randy start blaming each other, but Mark is suspiciously hiding behind both of them.
Okay, yeah.
And they also learn that Brad and Randy have stolen some risque catalogs that their dad has.
Yeah, it's another running thread that just doesn't really work, but yeah.
It's not a good look for Tim. They send the boys back outside. They're like, should we believe him? Whatever.
Well, Jill tends to believe them pretty much from the onset, whereas Tim is a little
more suspicious.
He kind of feels like one of them took it. Whereas Jill, she doesn't. She wants him to give him the benefit of the doubt, and they head upstairs to the bedroom, and he's sort of snooping around, and she doesn't think he should even be doing that. So
well, and the reason she doesn't like that is because her mom used to do it to her.
Yeah.
So, and she didn't like that, so she's trying to be a better mother. As you mentioned earlier, they're putting away laundry. Jill is picking up some pants. She picks up some of Mark's dirty pants, and out flies a pocket knife Almost like it wanted to be discovered.
Yeah, it's a cry for help. Yeah, it's it's kind of a long scene, and like it's just a matter. It's just like get there, okay? Will you just please get to the part where you find it? And yeah, he's tossed some pants, just throwing them errantly in a drawer. She picks it up and it falls out and just hits the floor with a thud. And I mean,
is this one of those cases where if we don't know the episode title ahead of time, like you usually don't?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little bit more mystery here about who stole it. Who done it?
I guess so. I mean, I wish there would have been some mystery, but yeah, when you call it a marked man and a knife goes missing, it seems fairly obvious. But yeah, I guess this would have been a surprise to anyone not reading a TV Guide episode. But yeah, I don't know. I probably still would have suspected it was Mark just because he's the least obvious one.
Well, you're just a screenwriter, so you kind of the way this works.
Yeah, I mean, Home Improvement hardly ever fools me. But I mean, I don't know. Just like he seemed the least likely. Although Randy would be pretty unlikely as well. Brad is the obvious choice, just because I don't know.
You know who I thought they were gonna say stole it? The hamster.
Yeah, I like it when the hamster comes up. It's like, I've never seen this hamster. When did this hamster
I would imagine Mark is playing with this hamster a lot more.
That hamster's his best friend.
Jeez.
All right, carry on.
All right, later downstairs, Mark comes inside. He wants an apple. Tim...
Great acting in this scene by Mark. Just great.
All right, so Tim says he's going to handle this opportunity. He kind of weasels his way into the pocket.
He's coming down in a huff. He's coming in hot.
He's ready. For being how angry he is, he kind of works this pocket knife into the conversation pretty easily.
Yeah, I like it.
He talks about helping Mark skin the apple or whatever, and he's like, "Oh wait, I got a pocket knife in my pocket." Pulls it out, and Mark is just shocked, and he knows he's in trouble. He tries to leave. He says, "I'm going to switch to a banana, and I'm out of here."
I'm going to switch to a banana and split. That's what he should have said.
He should have said. Tim sits him down. Jill wants to kind of discuss it more, and Tim just
come up with a game plan. Yeah.
Tim starts flying off the handle. He grounds him indefinitely.
He's yelling.
He's yelling, and he's talking about how he stole from Tim's friends. He's calling him a rotten little thief, and the great acting. Are you talking about Mark's eyes while he's being yelled at? Because it's pretty wild.
I was talking about when he said he wanted the banana too. He's just mumbling. You don't really know what he's saying. It's on the subtitles.
His eyes are more like he's looked at one of those women's catalogs for the first time.
Well, it probably happened the same day. It was a big day. And then, Mark runs off after Tim calls him a rotten little thief. I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not.
Let's hear it.
I don't feel like Tim's really in the wrong here. I think it's okay to yell at him when he stole something from... I mean, those aren't Tim's buddies, and, he grounds him indefinitely. There's no such thing as an indefinite grounding. Obviously that's not going to happen, and I understand Jill wanting to, have a conversation about the punishment, but, he stole, stealing is a big deal, regardless of your age, and, he stole this right from, Al and Harry, who plays Tim Goes all the time, so I guess I understood his anger, and, in the moment, I didn't feel like he acted out of turn, necessarily.
Can I say that, just apart from that before I answer, Tim's acting here I think is really good.
Really good. I thought so as well. Yeah,
very believable.
I was kind of scared, or I could, if I were a child, I wasn't actually scared.
You were on the train, cowering.
Oh gosh, I'm always scared in the train just because it's a train. But I don't know. I found it very convincing as well. Yeah, I agree with that.
So I guess my thoughts on it are.
Yeah, and you're a father, Jordan. So
I'm gonna have to deal with this stuff.
Your daughter will steal a knife someday, probably.
From a hardware store. I guess I understand both sides of it. Of course, Tim's angry because of all the things that you mentioned. But, at the same time, you kind of have to consider the source. Mark has never done anything wrong, really.
Which is what Jill says.
Yeah, so I see Jill's side of it, too, where, again, he's not really talking it over with her. They're not a unit. They're on different pages, all that types of stuff. And she wants to... I think there needs to be some sort of punishment, there's consequences for your actions, but I don't know. I guess I see both sides of it. Tim was probably a little harsh.
Yeah, I agree with her with regards to they need to come up with a punishment together, and there needs to be a conversation with that, but she seems really mad that he's just, yelling at Mark, and it's well... Yeah, I mean, I guess it's never great to yell at your kids, but this seems like a very specific kind of circumstance. So,
if you are going to yell, I guess it better be for something pretty
like
severe.
Something.
Yeah, it better be severe. But, some people don't like parenting like that, and apparently Jill doesn't, which is bad. And this kind of turns into a fight,
Right.
Tim's mad at Mark, and now all of a sudden Jill's mad at Tim, and Tim is kind of left wondering, like, what the heck just happened again.
Right. Yeah,
we've seen this a couple times where Tim gets mad about a situation.
Right. Yeah, this is a familiar plot line, but
everyone's
different in the sense that Mark is, I guess, the one in trouble. But
so as we move on to the next scene, Jill went to see Mark upstairs. Mark is face down. He was crying in his pillow, and he's not interested in talking to his mother. Jill says, "What you did was wrong, but your father came down on you too hard." And so she's trying to she's trying to smooth it over a little bit.
She's selling him out. I mean, effectively, but yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's great for her to go up there and
immediately just undo what he's just done.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, she's talking the whole time about them being on the same page, and then he goes up there. She immediately goes and is like, she's playing good cop essentially. I guess.
So I mean, I understand her wanting. Him to...
You don't want your kid to be upstairs crying,
but you want to come at the same page with... this would be a good situation where both of them come up and have this conversation, not her on her own. So, but that's not the way it works out exactly. Mark wants to... Or not Mark. Jill wants to tell a story about when she was a kid. Randy kind of comes in overhearing that and runs away. So we get that.
Doesn't want to hear it.
Same joke.
Not into it.
Nope. I don't know. I mean, is there anything else in this scene?
Well, she tells the story, or she tells some of it. It's about... Is this the one about her father?
Her father yelled at her.
For having a skirt that was too short?
Yes, that's right.
Probably went something like this. Jill, put on like a skirt, why don't you, Taylor?
I would imagine they got into many fights because Jill couldn't quite understand her father.
What did you say, Dad? I said to wear a skirt, Taylor.
It sounds like the adults from Charlie Brown a little bit.
Yeah, or Fran Drescher. Yeah.
A mix. So Jill... This is the typical parenting styles of Jill and Tim. Jill is empathetic. She's gone through similar situations. Tim is...
he's brash and
reactionary.
He's apt to fly off the handle and then feel bad about it later, which is probably true to a lot of parents, I guess.
Let's go outside and get let's get some perspective.
Yeah, I think we could use some.
So we've got Wilson outside flying a kite of sorts, and we're gonna let him tell us what's going on.
Wilson? Wilson, could you stop the singing and talk to me for just a second?
Well, hi-ho, neighbor. Happy Odo Kowaji.
Happy Yokohama to you. What's with the kite?
Well, today is the Japanese festival of Odo Kowaji, which means Big Kite Flying Day. See, according to legend, a master of a 16th century Japanese castle flew a kite in order to celebrate the birth of his son.
Yeah, what did he do when his son committed his first crime?
Pardon?
I'm not going to pardon him.
What in the world are you talking about?
I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Mark got caught stealing a pocket knife from Harry's hardware store. And I got really angry with him. I really didn't like this, and Jill got all mad at me because I was yelling at him. I told him he was grounded for the rest of his life.
Well, Tim, that seems like pretty harsh punishment.
But you know how I look at it? The stronger the punishment, the less likelihood is the kid will ever do it again.
Well, Tim, many people subscribe to that theory, but I'm reminded of the great Nietzsche.
Wow. What a linebacker. Green Bay Packers.
No. Not Ray Nitschke. Talking about Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher.
Sure, Freddie, yeah.
Yes. Nietzsche said the punishment often increases the feelings of estrangement and strengthens the power of resistance.
I think what influenced me more was Fisk.
Well, I didn't know you were a fan of John Fisk, the English historian.
I'm not. I'm talking about Carlton Fisk, the White Sox catcher. He said if you get caught stealing, throw him out.
Hey,
guys. Where's Mark?
I don't know. He was supposed to meet us at the bus stop, but he never showed up.
What are you talking about? I told him to come straight home after school.
Dad, the kid's a convicted hardware criminal. They're unpredictable.
Come on, guys. Let's make some calls and find your brother. Come on, come on.
All right.
Happy Odo Kawaji.
Back at you, pal.
I don't know if I said that right, but I tried.
Yeah.
Apparently a big kite flying day in Japan. Some noble celebrating the birth of his son. They fly lots of kites. And this happiness is just broken pretty quickly because Tim talks about how one of his sons has broken the law. And Wilson is shocked.
Can't believe it. Cannot believe
it. He's also shocked at the harsh punishment that Tim doles out.
Yeah.
And Tim, he's got the view of kind of punitive punishment where, you do extreme punishment and it will stop them from doing something similar in the future. Wilson quotes a German philosopher saying that often backfires, basically.
Yes.
And
Nietzsche. Not to be confused with Ray Nitsky.
Yes, the
great Packers linebacker.
And then Fisk, the baseball player.
Yeah, Carlton Fisk, and then Wilson confuses him with some philosopher. I kind of liked it. I liked the sports confusion at the very least.
It worked for you.
Yeah.
They come from two different worlds, but they meet at the fence. And
at the end of the day, Jordan, athletes, philosophers, we're all just freaking people,
That's
sometimes people, sometimes we forget that.
Why can't we all just meet at the fence?
Hey, the fence is a metaphor, Jordan. So how does this clip end?
I mean, basically, Wilson's thought is does the punishment fit the crime?
Right. I guess he and maybe you mentioned this and I didn't hear you, but he mentions the philosopher who says, the worse the punishment, maybe the more likely the person is to just kind of do it again or feel penalized, or there are basically negative effects to a severe punishment.
That's right.
And again, with this indefinite punishment, this indefinite grounding, it's not a real thing. First of all, Mark doesn't do anything anyway, so what's the big deal? His life is the exact same. But
the punishment forces him out of his comfort zone.
Yeah, he might have to he should be grounded from his bedroom, and he should have to go out and make friends and do things. But no, I don't know.
He's gonna go out at the end of the scene.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Well, Smooth R&B come through the side yard, coming home from work. Yeah, I wish they played that music every time they walked through.
It would be cool if it was a Kramer thing, how when he used to slide into Jerry's apartment, they'd all clap. But when Smooth R&B enter anywhere together, just some jazz played.
Yeah, too bad they don't. But
I'll talk to Carmen about it.
See if we can get that worked in. Yeah, worked into the old Hulu episodes. And there's one person missing from this trio.
Yeah.
And that's Mark. And you know what? Mark never showed up, so the brothers just left.
They're casual about it. They don't care
and you know
at
what?
all.
Tim's kind of casual about it.
Yeah, he is. He is actually.
He's all right, let's go make some calls.
They're Mark ran away, and he's thinking, well, we'll find him. It's not a big, it's not a big town, Detroit. He'll be fine in 1995 Detroit. Nothing bad happened around there.
So they go inside later. Tim is on the phone trying to find where Mark is, and he's talking to Pete from Pete's Pets. And this is where we find out that the Taylors have a hamster.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about this. I hope this comes out. I can foresee an episode in the future where the hamster is lost or something and it ends up in somebody's pant leg. I don't know. That's comedy gold. So I hope we see that in the future. But yeah, I was surprised to hear about this hamster that they got and thinking it's just weird that there are things in that house that we don't know about.
Yeah, I feel like we should know everything at this point.
I feel entitled to that at least, yeah.
But, they keep some parts of their life a mystery, and hamsters, that's where they draw the line, so...
I wish you kept your rabbits more of a mystery.
I wish your cats weren't on every episode.
Well, hey, one of those things.
One of those things. All right, so... Pete from Pete's Pets has not seen Mark, but he'll be on the lookout. Jill comes in. She knows nothing of the situation until now.
No cell phones, I guess. I don't know.
Nope. And she finds out. She's a little bit more shocked. Luckily, she doesn't have to freak out for very long because the phone rings immediately, and he's been found. He's at the hardware store, and turns out he had a nice mission there. He went to not steal more Swiss Army knives.
That'd be crazy if he went back to take more stuff. The day Mark broke bad.
So he goes in, he apologized, but he's scared to leave. He doesn't want to see Tim. So
yeah.
So
Why
it looks
isn't
like
it down here? It's what's gonna happen? I don't know.
I don't know. I imagine somebody's going to apologize and everything will be fine. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
well, probably.
To the hardware store we go. Al is telling the cookie story to Mark to teach him that, everyone screws up, I guess. I think that's his goal here. There's a fat joke from Harry. He's continuing to be the antagonist.
I don't like it
Al.
when people that, it's the appetite suppressant is brought up again, and Harry's like, well, I guess his mom never found it. It's like, Harry, you're fatter than Al. Like, I don't like it TV or presumably in real life when people that are heavier than someone else make fat jokes. Like, you
he's
can't
just
do that.
projecting his insecurity.
Well, then I need to see that at the fence with Wilson. I need to see that come out publicly because, it makes sense to me, but...
What if they just had a random scene where Harry goes to the fence to talk to Wilson?
You better believe at a certain point we're going to get a Wilson in the hardware store between one of the aisles talking to somebody giving advice. Like, if it doesn't happen next season, then it's going to happen some season.
And if it doesn't, then you're going to write a script about it.
I'm done writing home improvement scripts, Jordan.
All right, so...
The feedback is just too harsh.
This just can't handle it. You're not cut out for this.
No,
All right.
this business will eat me alive.
All right, so Tim and Jill come in, and Al and Harry, they're just like, you know what, just tell us if anybody comes in, we'll go to the back. You can have our store.
Right.
Seems like maybe just put them at the back of the store. Or maybe they're afraid that Mark is going to steal more stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe they can just be in the same room as this conversation. It's not that big of a deal.
I don't know. They want the privacy, or they give them privacy.
Mm-hmm.
Tim tries to apologize. He talks about how it set him off because part of their job is to show him right from wrong. So when he does stuff like this, they feel like they're failing, all that kind of stuff. Mark confesses that he knows it was wrong to steal. But his goal was to be cool because his brothers don't think he's cool.
Yep.
So really, Tim goes home and beats up on Smooth R&B to teach them a lesson.
So now he's got a whole new mission.
Yep. They take it a little bit easier. They reduce the punishment to 2 weeks. Talk about how kind of he showed his true colors by coming here and apologizing.
Are you not going to mention the customer that comes in?
This is where it comes in. So during this conversation, a customer comes in and they're
the customer is played by Jay Lacopo. How
many credits to his name?
Not too many. 15 acting credits. He last appeared in the short in 2010 called Turning It Over. But this is interesting. He created a television show that I think it was on Fox or something, and I remember Joe Buck saying it during Lions games, but it was called Cooper Barrett's Guide to Surviving Life. It was canceled, but I created a show in 2016, so that is, somewhat interesting, I would say, but no real acting after this.
No, he kind of switched to writing, I guess, after
so you think at this exact moment, 1995, he's coming and he's stealing this mop, he's thinking Cooper Barrett's Guide to... Barrett's Guide to
He's been refining that script
he's just turning it over in his head, just thinking.
For 10 years, he's been writing that script.
Yeah, so that's Jay Lacopo. He'll be hearing about him in the season and summation episode.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, Jill, to get him out of their hair, she gives him the mop.
He's just annoying. He asks do you have mops? Tim's I don't know. Can you go get some coffee or something? And then he's where's the closest coffee shop? They kind of blow up, and he just takes the mop.
That's correct. And Al comes out after everything has been made well within the Taylor clan, and learns that someone stole a mop. So I assume he's just going to put it on the Taylor tab.
Yeah, why not? You can just assume Mark did it again.
That's what he's just going to do from now on. You steal it, you buy it.
Yeah.
So, next scene, Tim is searching the boys' room when Jill catches him. Tim was looking for his magazine. Found it, but also found a recipe of Jill's.
Kind of funny. Yeah.
Apparently the boys didn't like it. He said that he would have burned it instead of just saved it.
It's her tuna lime casserole or something disgusting.
Tuna lima bean.
Yeah, lima bean, and she can't fathom why they took it. It's
sounds terrible. I mean, all those recipes that we came up with earlier sound so much better.
For real, man. It's you're not going to find that at the home improvement diner. That's for
I
sure.
could go for a piece of Al's flannel pie right now.
I could go. I'm not meatloaf hungry, and I'm certainly not Benny Brony, hungry. But yeah, pie sounds pretty good.
Pie sounds good. All right, we'll get some of that after this.
Yeah, let's close this one out first.
All right,
Jordan.
Jill is now curious to see what they have stolen or what they're hiding, and as she is snooping and Tim leaves, Randy comes in, and now she is forced to try to do what her mother did and basically say that she was just putting the underwear away and all that kind of stuff. She stumbles through a justification, and that is the hilarious end of episode 99.
Roll credits fade to black. A marked man. AKA when thiefdom happens, nurturing your child in the stealing business.
All right. Adam, I'm going to ask you first.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Highs and lows.
I haven't really been able to effectively distill my feelings for this episode. I would say there are things that work and things that don't work, like most episodes. Let me get a little more specific for you. Okay, lows I'll start with. I think the opening husband calling scene is probably
brutal.
One of my least favorite Tool Time scenes just in general. And we've seen a lot of bad stuff come out of Tool Time, so believe me when I say that it's bad. It's insufferable. So that's definite knock. I felt like this episode, I would have liked a little bit more suspense. Well, I guess there was never going to be suspense in terms of who took the knife because we knew the title. But I wanted there to be a little bit more time between when Jill and Tim find the knife and when they confront Mark. Like a little cat and mouse game where they make him feel guilty. I sort of like, I don't know, that can sort of be funny. We've seen him do stuff like that before. But the confrontation happens right away, so I would have just liked a little bit more of a build to Tim's big scene. But I would say in favor of this episode, Tim getting mad at Mark, I loved that. No, it was good acting. It was
It spoke to your soul.
Yeah, I loved it. It was at least something different, and I appreciated that scene. There are some good jokes here and there, some good lines, but. For me, it's pretty average, I guess. Some things work, some things don't. Just middle of the road for me.
Yeah, I would agree with most of the things you said. Like, the husband calling is just... It's pretty long, too, actually.
Yeah.
It seems like they could have used some of that time to do some of those things that you were talking about, building this up a little bit more. I agree. Tim's acting is pretty good in this episode, especially the yelling is pretty authentic. As far as... It's kind of the same problem for Tim and Jill. Like, they're not on the same page about parenting here.
Yeah.
You would like for that not to keep happening, but...
I guess I didn't really mind the conflict overall, only because I suspect that in a real marriage, like, when you have kids, like, these things would continue to happen. So I wasn't really bothered by, like, the repetitive storyline, because it is kind of a whole new problem with Mark stealing the knife, so I guess that didn't really bother me as much.
Yeah. I guess another thing that bothered me is, like, Tim's and the boys' reaction of, like, their brother missing.
Oh, I liked that. That was funny. Inadvertently funny.
Yeah. I feel like, obviously that would be a more extreme circumstance. So, my favorite thing about this episode, the hamster. That's just kind of the tidbit of information that I never saw it coming.
Yeah.
I should have made it into an episode title, but I didn't think about it. But
next time.
Yeah, next time we'll talk about hamsters. So, yeah, it was okay.
It's fine. It's just okay. It's not bad and certainly not good.
Yeah. So, all right. So, with that, let's move on to Sean's social media corner. Mm-hmm. So, if you'd like to reach out to us, go to thehomeandpodcast.com. We're on Twitter at homeandpodcast, facebook.com/homeandpodcast. Support the show at patreon.com/homeandpodcast. You can do so for as little as $1 a month. Adam?
Yeah?
What's going on Twitter?
Oh, Jordan, it's been a wild ride on Twitter lately.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
I don't understand that reference necessarily, but I'm going to continue on my track here. So, a couple weeks ago, Jordan, I was done with polls.
You were done.
I was done with polls.
You were sworn off the polls.
I had sworn off the polls, and I intended to follow through on that. I put it in writing. I had a notary stamp it, and it was official. But something happened to me during the week, and I decided that maybe the polls should continue. But then after that, again, and I'm going to stretch this out a lot longer than it needs to be. I had a thought to myself, and I thought, okay, I brought the polls back temporarily. Should the polls be back forever?
Indefinitely?
Indefinitely. So I put it to the people, Jordan, and the question was, the definitive poll, should the weekly polls continue? 16 total votes. 0% no. 100% yes. And do you want to know the crazy thing, Jordan? I'm pretty sure I voted no. I swear I voted no. So I don't know. There's a higher power controlling these polls because I pressed no on my phone. I didn't want to do them anymore. But somehow, someone from above has decided that the polls will continue. So, 16 total votes, 100% yes.
That's amazing.
Otherwise, on the Twitter front, what do we got here? Oh, I posted a picture of Al, Cal, and Carrie, and someone reached out to us, and his name is Jason Allen. And he said, when I first saw that episode, I thought for sure the guy was most likely Richard Karn's real-life brother. I was shocked to find out he wasn't. And yeah, I would mostly agree, with the exception being their draws,
Yep.
But
we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that. Otherwise, not a lot going on here. More followers, follow us, join in the fun, make a difference in the podcasting world.
All right. With that, it is time for the question of the week. It is my turn, I believe.
Okay.
Adam.
Jordan.
We're going to do a two-question question of the week.
Oh, man. Okay. All right.
All right. So the first one is kind of your idea, and I know you just want to talk about it.
Is it kind of my idea, or is it just straight up my idea?
Only kind of, because I think it came from this episode. So.
Okay, sure, yeah.
All right. So, Adam, Mark runs. Mm-hmm. He runs so far away.
Yeah.
Not really that far away, just to the hardware store. Mm-hmm. Which I'd like to know how far he went from school to the hardware store.
It's a small town, that Royal Oak.
So I'm just wondering, like, as a kid, did you ever think about running away?
Yeah, Jordan, I'm surprised you asked that. Here's the thing. Yeah, I thought about it a lot, and I think that shows like this are the reason why I thought about it. I feel like 90s television, probably 80s as well, basically the television that I watched when I was growing up, I feel like kids running away was like a major plot point. Like, I feel like every series had an episode where a kid got mad about something stupid or felt bad, and he like ran away only temporarily to face something that scared him, and then he runs back home and appreciates his family. So I feel like I never actually ran away myself, but like I had like elaborate plans of like running away. I'm pretty sure I maybe packed a bag once, and we're talking like 7 or 8. Packed a bag. Rations were never something I necessarily considered.
Well, you could have just foraged along the way. I think you knew that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Especially out where I lived in the nature. I think there was quite a bit of that out there.
Yeah.
But no, actually, I never ran away, but I thought about it quite a bit, and I don't know. It was always a possibility for me. Like, hey, you know what? If my parents don't apologize to me for what they said, then I will run away. And you know what? They never apologized.
And you never ran away.
I never ran away. So I guess it all worked out.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, you just assumed that at some point after watching all those shows, like you had to run away. It was like
it just seemed like it was like expected. Like that's what you do. Like that's
I haven't done this yet.
That's how you show people that you're mad.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever had the same thoughts, but maybe I would imagine that if I ever did feel like that, I probably just went with Sam to like the woods, and we just went and hung out there for a while.
Yeah, little boys in the woods, nothing bad ever happened there.
No. So, I can't say I have the same type of experience, but I'm glad you never ran away. I would have been worried about you.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have made it far. It's like... it's like 1.7 miles to M15. There was no way that my stubby body was making it that far.
Maybe your high school body.
Oh, yeah, Jordan. In the prime of my life, I could have made it there in probably 1.7 miles, probably about 12, 13 minutes by foot, if I was really going.
Yeah,
What's part 2, Jordan? What's part 2?
Part 2. This episode talks a lot about magazines and hamsters.
When does it talk about magazines?
Well, catalogs and magazines.
When does it talk about catalogs?
The Victoria's Secret catalog.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
How dare you?
My fault.
So I'm just wondering, I know this is a digital world.
I just told you that. Yeah, you'll probably have cut it out, but I scolded you.
People are going paperless, so they say. Everyone but my parents and maybe your parents. And
50-50.
But I do remember growing up, having like Sports Illustrated for kids and all that kind of stuff. And I was just wondering, do you currently subscribe to a digital or paper version of a catalog of sorts, a magazine, something of that
I get where
nature.
you're heading with this.
A quarterly.
So here's something. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna assume Kirsten inadvertently signed up for something, but we get we get People magazine.
Okay.
Every week, like every
Wow.
week, we get a new People magazine to the point where I don't even read it anymore. People's okay, but yeah, we don't know why we get it or how we get it, but it comes every week. So, in short, yes.
But unknowingly, why? You don't know.
Right. It's a mystery.
What's in People magazine? Is it just like the gossip, pop culture?
Pop culture. It's a little bit. It's not. It's a little bit more reputable than like. Okay, I mean, National Enquirer, but like obviously,
Right.
It's not.
It's not
Jordan-
TMZ.
Jordan, it's not TMZ, and it's not gotcha journalism, which I've brought up several times in this podcast. It's mostly just like photos of people. It's
What are
fine.
celebrities doing? Did they have a kid?
Right,
You know, all that kind of stuff.
It's okay. Throughout my life, I had a Buzz Beamer Sports Illustrated for Kids subscription. I used to have a GQ subscription that I liked, and I'm considering getting back again because I do like to look at the pictures of fashion. Other than that, magazine subscriptions, I suspect that was it, but I can tell, well, probably had Sports Illustrated as well, but I do remember the days and the age of magazines and that being a big deal when one came in the mail and it being
Heck
kind of
yeah.
exciting.
You were so excited to get those and sit down and read.
Mm-hmm,
Recently there's been a mystery afoot in our household because somebody had signed up for ESPN the magazine and sent it to me, but at my parents' house in Michigan.
Okay.
And so I don't know if this is a gift or like.
So they just give you like stacks of them when you see them.
So I went online, like they sent me a picture of the subscription. I went online and like looked at the information, updated the address, and like somebody had bought a subscription for ESPN the magazine for me for like 3 years.
Really? Well,
So
magazines are very cheap now because they have to be. Like I was looking at a GQ subscription and it was like 50 cents a magazine or something because like they just say so. I mean, that is weird though. I hope you get to the bottom of it. It's probably a fan of the podcast.
yeah, probably. I don't know how they got my parents' address, but they did.
These things are
Other
out
than
there.
that, I have a couple of. There's a nonprofit I support called the Bible Project, and they send out like a quarterly just for supporting them. And then one of my very favorite minimalist authors, which I know you love minimalism.
We're at about an hour one.
Yeah,
so let's
it's
wrap
about
this
time
up.
to. He has an online one as well, so I get that.
I mean,
So,
a minimalist magazine. I hope it's on like a leaflet because to do more than that would be just sort of.
It's so minimalist that it's just digital.
I was going to tell you about it's just digital. Okay, well, never mind. I was going to refer you to a joke from Airplane, but you probably haven't seen it yet. So,
Yeah,
do you think by the end of the podcast you could watch Airplane? We could talk about it just briefly.
I don't know. I don't really.
You'll like it. It's funny. Everybody
I'm sure
likes
I will. I know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's in it, and I know
yeah, among
I mean,
others.
Among others, it's just one of those things where I'd barely watch any movies as it is. So
Your
am I gonna
daughter
do that?
will like it.
Will she?
There's a lot of like people falling and stuff. Kids love that.
Actually, I love that. So.
Yeah, you love that too. Jordan, next week is major.
Oh, it couldn't get bigger than this, really.
I can't believe that we, and I mean, when I say I can't believe it, to think that we will have done 100 episodes next week will be our 100th is crazy. I would say, for lack
It's
of a better
pretty
word,
wild. We've sunk a lot of time into home improvement.
an unfathomable amount of time.
So do you want to preview a little bit of what we've got coming up for?
So let's first say what we're covering next week, Jordan. What's the episode called?
It's going to be the end of season 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be called Wilson's Girlfriend.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, baby. Wilson's Girlfriend. Get it? All right. So it is nice that all these things are kind of falling on the same podcast. So we're covering Wilson's Girlfriend. As it is the end of a season, we'll be doing our season. It'll be season 4 in summation. So we'll talk top 3, bottom 3 episodes, guest stars. We'll do a season MVP. Talk about how the season stacks up overall, and then we're going to have a somewhat structured discussion of our journey thus far from 1 to 100 and everything that has transpired, how we've felt, how we've done it, and then maybe talk about where we're going. I don't know.
Well, that'll be interesting because I have no idea where we're going. But
We're going to continue on, so it'll be a short discussion.
It will be. And then it'll be kind of a two-hander because there's just so much to cover.
I mean, 100 episodes, you need two hands to hold all those.
I'd say. And probably some feet as well. But
probably, yeah.
There will be, the second part will be, I don't know if we'll do it next week or it'll be a week after, but we will do our special interview. I think we've mentioned who it's with, but if we haven't, Carmen Finestra, co-creator of Home Improvement, we sat down and talked to him.
Yeah, it's a solid hour. It's pretty juicy, and it will be a surprise when it drops, so you just have to be ready for it.
So be ready for that. And anything else you want to say, Adam?
Jordan, thank you for joining me. Listeners, thank you for listening. See you at 100.
Take care, everybody.